Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We turn our attention now to that pension law for ex-governors, ex-deputy governors. They also have their retinue of staff. Well, we're joined now to discuss this matter by Mr. Adekunle Ojo, who used to be the he is the former second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
I mean, when you first read this, what struck you?
Well, I saw in it a complete oddity. It's strange, it's obscene, it's outrageous, and it smacks of people who ordinarily don't really see how the resources that comes to the state should be expended in a manner that every Dick and Harry will benefit from it. So I could see avarice. I could see people that are unduly greedy, who wants to amass now, amass later, and keep building. Perhaps they might be willing to build a castle in the air. Nobody can really say.
What if you were to give them the benefit of the doubt? Maybe as a council, you now look at it from both perspectives. This is one. What would the other be?
Well, humbly speaking, with what we have on ground, I do not really think a man should be given a benefit of the doubt for asking for 100 million naira per year as its allowance as an ex-governor. I cannot see what benefit I should give such persons.
I think it's very important to put this in perspective.
The perspective, yes.
Because, 100 million naira is not, they are insured for up to 100. It doesn't necessarily mean that the premium that will be paid will be 100 million naira.
Right.
Or that, it's just the amount to which they have been insured to. Yeah. I'm just trying to clarify that so that, we don't misinform people. But looking at the concept, I want to ask, let's not look at the figures right now. Let's, first of all, examine the concept of governors being pensionable. Do you think the governors should be pensionable?
Well, I'll answer your question, but let me start from where you started from. One, the explanation that you just gave now, to some of us, appears like an afterthought. It was after the uproar that the excuse came from the governor and people that are much closer to him. Some of these things do happen. How you draw it, you don't have to account to me. This is one country that no one seems to be accountable to anybody. They do it the way they want to do it. That aside, let's look at whether a governor should be pensionable. The office, public officers likely occupy pensionable positions. So basically, I'm not averse to people. If you are once a governor, why not have your pension after your tenure? There shouldn't be anything wrong in that. Maybe because I look at this from a larger perspective. That can be an encouragement for people not to pay far into the state's purse while they are in office. If you are so sure that if you leave office, you can still be catered for, not in an outrageous manner, because when it is outlandish, then some of us will cry against it. But ordinarily, if it is to maintain you, there shouldn't be anything wrong with it, because I don't want to see an ex-governor riding an Okada on the road. So definitely, if catering for him means taking care of his housing within the resources of the state, not in a manner that he will be living as if he's a teen god on earth, then there's nothing wrong. I don't really see anything wrong in it.
Do you remember that case of, I think it was Gombe State Governor? Because I do remember the matter was in court, and as a counsel you may remember, where the FCC eventually looked into that case. They thought they had something going on, but at the end of the day, I think there was 250 million attached to it, but it was the law. It was pensions for former governors. So some of these have even, this one was even signed in 2009. That's Gombe had a paid vacation for the ex-wife, and these things have been there as far back as 2000 and some 8, some 9, and
2001.
2001.
Yeah.
So for some former governors,
it doesn't make it justifiable.
How come that?
It doesn't make it justifiable. That's more reason why.
Not that it's justifiable. I'm asking that. If lawyers have seen this, couldn't they have thought to themselves, wait a minute, these kind of things should be reviewed because it's only recently when Akwa Ibom's case came in, because he, from what he said, he wanted to just put a cap. Some of them were uncapped. For medical fees, anybody could claim anything, even 200 million. Yeah. And the laws required them to pay. So these were some of the things that were found. And nobody spoke up in terms of maybe a collective resolve to say, look, could you all review this?
Well, I think it's not a job for the lawyers alone. It's for each and every one of us. That's why we have the Freedom of Information Act, so that people can probe into whatever appears shrouded in secrecy. We can insist that it should be brought to bear so all of us can see it. I think basically, you see, some of these laws are there. They are even hidden away from what you and I can see. It's when it comes into the public domain that we got to know about it. You see, having said that much, you see, I see it as a thing that shouldn't be encouraged. That's the truth. And I think there should be a way. You see, we have a problem in this country. What do I mean? You see, for as long as you cannot hold those people that you have elected accountable to do certain things, then definitely you have given them a blank check. They are at large to do whatever they want to do. One, let's not deny the fact that there is docility in most of the houses of assembly that we have. Perhaps because a good number of them got into office at the pleasure of the governor. So at the end of the day, you see them dancing to the tune of the governor, so they don't even mind. And the man is going, you see, a man who is leaving office as a governor is already thinking about when he will become the president of the country. So he needs to have the war chest to fight for the presidency of the country. These are part of things that really, but then when you have a country where people can be, where rulers can be made to be accountable, then at the end of the day, the money that is left for them to waste will be drastically reduced. You see, I'm encouraged by one thing. By one of the decisions or one of the recommendations of the ongoing confab, that Section 2 of our Constitution should be made justiciable. If that is done, is the only body in the country today that hold our leaders accountable, without missing word, are the journalists. You call certain things to question, but you realize that by and large, an ordinary citizen in the country, aside from some pockets of protest here and there, we cannot really ask questions. But then if some of these items that are listed under Part 2 becomes justiciable, it means I can go to court. If you say I have a right to life, why should I have right to health? Meaning that I will sue you if my right that is constitutional is not guaranteed. At the end of the day, it means that this money that they see as a leftover will have been expended on something that is more meaningful. I think this is what encourages them, because there is so much around, and they will, oh look, I'm leaving this money, or there is a pool from which money could be drawn. Then I can't just close my eyes and go away. Let it be that after my tenure, I will still be entitled to a lot of largesse.
So you say that you're not exactly against the concept of governors being pensionable. You just say that it has to be modest.
Yeah, that's
How do we begin to define the concept of modesty?
Well, fear for fear. If a governor is entitled to 50,000 naira salary-wise in office, personally, I cannot see any reason why, when he leaves office, he should not be entitled to the same amount. But in a situation whereby it is now jacked up to 300%, there is no justification for it. There is no justification for it. If the man is good enough to earn 100,000 naira while he's in office, then I can't see what is wrong in him earning as much as that when he leaves office. But it shouldn't be jacked up, because apparently, as a civil servant, when you are leaving office at a salary of 18,000 naira, when you are retired, you are likely to continue on this as your pension, isn't it? So if we look at if what is good for the goose, they say is good for the gander, let it be that they are able to keep that. But the reason, I cannot fathom any reason under the act why a man who had the resources, the pulse of the entire state in his kitty for 4 years, leaves office, then you jack it up again, or he jacks it up. It's only in Nigeria that we see somebody crowning himself. I've heard about people being crowned by other persons, but it's only in Nigeria that you see a man who is living now. You say, "Oh, I'm awarding myself. I'm giving myself an award." It is odious.
The reason I asked that, sorry,
Right.
Suleiman, the reason I asked that question about modesty is, you also talked about what is obtainable while they're in office.
Yeah.
We've seen just I don't want to say that we, or should we say that we have given them these perks of office. So they have this convoys, they have medical insurance, unlimited possibility to their families, they have access to this huge amount of resource, and then after office, it would seem like it's down to naught.
There are certain things that ordinarily comes with the office, and there are certain things that ordinarily, when you leave office, it shouldn't come with you.
Do you think that it's our fault in the sense that we've given too much while in office?
No, I think.
Should we start from there, maybe?
No, I think basically it's not our fault as a people, but it is I keep looking at the legal framework. That is the law. If the law has given them these excessive opportunities to do whatever they want to do, nobody even dictates anything. No, you can't. You are not even in control. The governor asks for as much as he wants, as much convoy as he wants. In fact, some people have had a governor threatening before that if I use 1% of my power, there will be trouble in this state. But when he left office, he realized that he was just in the code like every other human being. He realized that he could be held up on the road by the traffic jam. You see, I think all of these are things that people should have at the back of their mind. Now, I do not, you see, I've seen few governors. I met a governor in the airport before. Yes, it could be pretentious. People might say it's pretentious. I saw him carry his bag himself. I saw him check himself in. I'm not going to mention it because I don't want to be seen as being political in this way. I saw people try to collect his bag from him. He said, "No, let me carry it so that when I leave office, I will be used to it all over again." So let people just realize that they had a background before they became what they are now. But unfortunately, this is a country where somebody who enjoyed free education, who never paid anything while he was in school, he cannot see any reason why a ward who is in the university should not pay 300,000 naira in a year.